Meeting of the Township of Hamilton Committee for Monday, March 3rd, 2025. Please stand for the flag salute. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Adequate notice of this meeting has been provided pursuant to the New Jersey Open Public Meetings Law by posting a notice of this meeting on the bulletin board in the municipal building and by transmitting notice of this meeting to the Press of Atlantic City, the Star Ledger, and the Atlantic County Record on January the 8th, 2025. Mr. Cheek? Mr. Laws?
Here.
Mr. Vitale?
Here.
Dr. Witherspoon?
Here.
Mayor Schenker?
Here. Can we have a moment of silence for private reflection? And please keep in your hearts and your minds of Bobby Hamilton and his family who passed about a week ago. Big loss to the township. Thank you. We're going to start off with, we have a couple proclamations we'd like to do. The first one we'd like to do is for Susan Lacharchek.
Good evening, everyone. This is Women's History Month, and this is the second year that we are honoring women in our township. I chose Susan Lacharchek. She is a resident here in Atlantic County, grew up in Northfield, but her and her husband moved to the Hamilton Township area, and we really love that. I love her resilience. She's had some health challenges, and became the first person that had her leg amputated above the knee in 2006 due to an infection. But Susan didn't let that stop her. She kept being involved in the community. And she's the one that helped me with the environment. In 1996, I met Vice President Al Gore, and he was very involved in the environment. And after that, I really didn't stay in tune with the environment like I should. But when I met Susan, she was telling me, you can't have balloons here, and you can't do this, and you can't do that. And so I thought it would just be suitable to honor someone who has been committed, environmentalist, and involved with the Sustainable Jersey since 2015, having previously served as chair of the Hamilton Township Sustainable Team. Her goal is to encourage the township to embrace sustainable Jersey practices, contributing to a more sustainable future. Sustainable Jersey helps municipalities adopt the best practices that reduce waste, cut greenhouse gas emissions, stimulate local economies, and build resilience, ensuring a better world for future generations. Now, therefore, we, the sworn members of the Hamilton Township Committee in Mays Landing, New Jersey, do hereby honor Susan Lacharchek during National Women's History Month in Purdue as established the third day of March in the year of 2025. Congratulations, Susan.
Thank you, guys. Thank you, Thelma. Thank you, Dr. Witherspoon. I really appreciate it. Hopefully we'll have a Women's History Month in the future, but I guess we'll see. I can't believe, so my husband and I, my husband's here, Michael, I got him out tonight. We've been in the township for over 30 years, and I'm a lifelong resident of Atlantic County. And my family goes back to, actually my second great-grandfather was the sheriff in Atlantic County way long time ago. But I go back to Leeds and I go back to Kurtz, and I'm proud of that. In fact, I've got a whole lot of relatives in Union Cemetery, and I think Hosea Joslin, there's a window in the Methodist Church that's, anyway, he's my relative too. So, and I've been involved with, thanks to Suzanne Marks, I've been involved with Sustainable Jersey since we got it established in 2015, and Rodney Gouchard helped. And they didn't really want to give it to us, but here we are, and my team members are here, and I know there's other things they're working on. But I'm just really grateful and really happy, and I can't believe I'm old enough to even be getting this honor. So I'm like an antique at this point, but thank you so much. So.
Our next one is Elaine Valentino. So, I met Elaine when I was placed on the zoning board quite a few years ago. I spent a few years on the zoning board, and I must say, without Elaine, this town would have some issues, I think. Took her job very seriously, done it very well, and made sure that everybody on the zoning board knew what was going on, what our responsibilities were, and had this out of trouble. So, that's how I met Elaine. So, whereas, we would like to recognize Elaine Valentino during National Women's History Month, whereas Elaine began her experience in zoning over 40 years ago, initially as an administrative role in Hazlitt Township, Monmouth County. She felt a passion for zoning beyond this role, was chosen for an alternate member, and ultimately appointed as the chairperson, where she served for 10 years. It was in Hazlitt that she flourished in her role as zoning chairperson, as well as raising her family and excelling in her career as a director for the county of Monmouth. She maintained an active role in her community and her children's schools, as well as other local philanthropy. Whereas moving to Mays Landing was a new direction for she and her husband, Marty. Mays Landing is now home to not only Elaine and Marty, but their 2 adult children. Having had so much passion and experience for zoning, Elaine offered her time to the Hamilton Township Zoning Board as a continuous member since 2009. She served as vice chair from 2011 to 2013 and as chairperson from 2014 to present. She has also been a zoning board member of the Redevelopment Review Committee since 2023. Whereas Elaine maintains her network and honors her relationships with all of the professionals she has worked with. She generously continues to work with local philanthropy to serve her communities in Atlantic County. Elaine promotes fairness, the importance of due diligence, and celebrating all the wins for her family and her community. Now therefore we, as 4 members of Hamilton Township Committee in Mays Landing, New Jersey, do hereby honor Elaine Valentino during National Women's History Month in perpetuity as established this 3rd day of March in the year 2025.
I thought this was done when I left Monmouth County as Director of Division on Women. But it's very nice to be recognized for this. Just a little background. Women's History was a day when I first became Director of Division on Women for Monmouth County. And in 1988, there was a congressional resolution stating that this would be Women's History Month. Along with that was a grant to promote women's history in every school in Monmouth County. So I researched a lot of information and I put together a publication called Women in History, a Non-Trivial Pursuit. I was able to get that in every school in Monmouth County. So now it's a month-long celebration, and we always had a Woman of Achievement celebration at the end of the year. And on the 35th anniversary of Women's History Month, I'm now living in Woods Landing and put together a program for Women's History Month. Division on Women was a very, very interesting and heartwarming position because there was no path to follow. You had to make your own footprints in the snow, and you had to look around and say, where are their needs? Without the benefit of comprehensive needs assessments or gaps analysis or anything like that, you just went into the community to find out where things had to be done. You were working with women who were victims of domestic violence. You were working with women living in shelters, women living in transitional housing, and all of the other issues. Healthy mothers, healthy babies, looking at preterm, low-weight babies, and how could you do something about that? There were many, many instances where the only way you can accomplish this is to build alliances. So you work with all the wonderful nonprofits that are there, and you keep your finger on the pulse of what is happening. And then you go into the malls and say, I have a group of women in programs that are going to graduate. Do you have any way you can help? And I started with women's clothing. From there it went to Williams-Sonoma, Pottery Barn. The people next door who had picture frames said, could you use these frames for the girls graduating their programs? And these alliances were built over time. The one time I didn't need a grant was grant money was given without an application when I set up a resource center on the grounds of the community college for the families whose loved ones were missing and who died on September 11th. During this time, one of the last groups of people and women who I recognized, because when I went to work in the morning, people would ask for some of my publications. A Woman's Guide to Services in Monmouth County and domestic violence and all of these things. And companies don't open until 10 o'clock in the morning, and I had to be to work at 8:30. So who's open at 8:30 in the morning? The hospitals, the schools, and the police stations. And that's where I saw a group of women that I determined their needs were not being met. And I went to the different agencies and said, what does your population look like? This is what I see, but I want to make sure that I'm looking at this properly. What did I see? I saw grandmothers raising grandchildren. So I went to the freeholders and said, I would like to start a support group for grandparents raising grandchildren. How much is it going to cost? The answer is simple. It's not going to cost anything. A Neptune Senior Center is giving me space. All the different agencies that we work with are going to be people who can talk to the grandparents. And so we set this up. And then I went down to Trenton. And in a row house in Trenton, I met with women from Essex County who had been trying to get something done for a long time. So I wrote legislation, and Senate President John O. Bennett sponsored it. And we were able to get information out to all the services that were available to grandparents raising grandchildren. There was no funding for this, and we knew that if there was funding attached to it, it would just sit in committee. So it was not to fund, it was to provide services. Women are a majority in this country, and sometimes we step on each other's toes. We don't get things done when we highlight our insignificant differences. We make progress when we recognize those differences and we highly underscore our very, very strong similarities. It's been said there are 3 types of people: those who make things happen, those who watch things happen, and those who wonder what happened. I throw out to you that challenge. Watch and wonder, but make things happen. Thank you very much for listening.
Okay, we're going to move on to our first item, additions and deletions of late agenda items to be considered for action tonight. We have one addition, it's 7A. Number 6 would be the business registration for Carousel Collectibles and Creative Studio, 6024 Main Street, number 1. Deletion would be 7I, resolution in support of New Jersey Department of Transportation preferred alternate for replacement of Route 40 and Route 50 bridge over Great Oak Harbor River. So moved. Second. We have a motion, we have a second. Any questions or concerns? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? The ayes have it. Early public comment on agenda items excluding items listed in public hearing.
We have no one signed up tonight.
Okay, excellent. Discussions, formal action to be may be taken. A, we have a presentation by Amazon.com Services LLC, 4501 Black Horse Pike, Block 1135.01, Lot 10.01, seeking partial assignment and assumption of an escrow agreement.
Mayor, Emily Givens, Redevelopment Council for the Township. I just want to preface this. The Township has entered into an escrow agreement with Patriot Equities.
Correct.
That escrow agreement contemplated an assignment. This is related to the Atlantic City Racecourse property, and Patriot Equities has been working in conjunction with the potential conditional redeveloper that you're going to hear from in just a few moments,
Okay.
AmazonServices.com. They will, the proposal is for a partial assignment of rights and responsibilities. So Patriot Equities is not going away. Patriot Equities will remain as a conditional redeveloper for the remainder of the parcel. But you'll hear this evening from Joe Paparo and his team regarding their proposal. And at that time, after the conclusion, committee will be presented with the decision as to whether to approve that partial assignment and assumption of those rights and responsibilities for an escrow agreement directly with Amazon.
Okay,
Okay.
thank you. Hi, Joe.
Hi.
How are you?
Good evening, Mayor, committee members. For the record, Joe Paparo from Porzio, Bromberg, and Newman on behalf of Amazon.com Services, LLC. As Ms. Gibbons stated, this is a request for a partial assignment of the conditional redeveloper designation from Patriot Equities. This does involve the property located at 4501 Black Horse Pike. That's block 113501, lot 10.01, the former racetrack site. What we want to do this evening, Mayor, with your permission and the committee's permission, is to make a very simple presentation to describe what's envisioned for this property and the interplay between Patriot Equities and Amazon for the site. We have a number of slides that we'd like to present to you this evening. As part of our presentation, I'm joined with by my colleague Danielle Aristi from Amazon, who will take over after I give a little introduction and talk more about what's envisioned for this location by Amazon, some of the just day-to-day operations that we envision for this new fulfillment center. So let me just Before I call Danielle to come forward, because we could share a mic and do a duet if you'd like, but I'll go first, and then I'll let Danielle come up next. So just briefly, as was mentioned, Patriot Equities is the designated conditional redeveloper of the Atlantic City racecourse site. They have site control. Amazon is currently under contract to purchase what's shown in the blue. The aqua color is approximately 84 acres of the racecourse track. The proposal will require a subdivision. If Amazon is designated as the conditional redeveloper, Amazon would pursue the necessary approvals from the planning board of the Township of Hamilton, one of which would be a subdivision to subdivide off the aqua color parcel of approximately 84 acres, and Patriot Equities would remain, as Ms. Gibbons stated, as the conditional redeveloper of the remainder of the racecourse track for their proposal, if and when they come forward for that section of the site. This is the initial stage in the redevelopment process. As you know, we are here for a conditional redeveloper designation. This site is located in the Atlantic City Racecourse redevelopment area. According to the 2024 redevelopment plan that the township adopted for that parcel, you must be designated as a redeveloper to pursue redevelopment for any portion of that track. So that is one of the reasons why, obviously the main reason why, we are requesting this designation from you this evening so that we can take the project to the next step. What are the next steps? The next steps would be, if you are inclined to allow the assignment, the partial assignment from Patriot Equities to Amazon, the next step in the process would be for Amazon to negotiate a redevelopment agreement with the township for the project that's identified in the aqua color. Once that we proceed through that part of the redevelopment process, then we would next move to the planning board and seek all of the necessary approvals. I've identified one of the major approvals, which would be a subdivision to subdivide off the piece that Amazon is looking to purchase and redevelop. We would also be seeking site plan approval from the planning board. Again, we would go through the same development process that any applicant would who's looking to develop property in the township. That would be a public hearing process at the planning board, and we would proceed in due course with the necessary approvals from all of the agencies having jurisdiction. In addition to the subdivision, I talked about the site plan. I said there is a redevelopment plan that covers this site. The proposed fulfillment center, based on our review of the documentation in the redevelopment plan, the proposed fulfillment center is a permitted use. And what I'd like to do now, again, is give you a little bit more detail as to what's envisioned for this property. I've talked a little bit about the redevelopment process and the planning board process that will hopefully come down the road if we proceed through the redevelopment aspects and reach the planning board. But I'd like to now move to some of the slides that depict the anticipated fulfillment center facility. What's on the screen now is a conceptual site plan, and really this, again, we're at the initial stages of this process, as I've mentioned. What's shown there is just a visual to give the committee and you, Mayor, a sense of where the actual fulfillment center would be situated on the parcel. Leipzig Avenue is at the top of the screen, as identified. The facility would front along that roadway. And then, without getting into any more detail, again, this is conceptual at this point in time, but I'd like to have Danielle Aristi from Amazon come forward now and give you a little understanding of what type of a fulfillment center this is and what the company envisions to be partnering with the township as far as this redevelopment project.
Thank you very much, Joe. As Joe mentioned, my name is Danielle Aristi. I am the lead economic development manager for Amazon for the state of New Jersey and the surrounding region. I appreciate the opportunity to present and speak to you, Mayor and committee members this evening. And forgive me for going a little bit off topic, but congratulations to the two amazing women that you had up here who were those recipients. That was a hard act to follow. As Joe mentioned, what we are contemplating here as part of the redevelopment is an Amazon fulfillment center. A fulfillment center is really the place where the package journey begins. The type of fulfillment center that we are proposing here is what we call an Amazon Robotics Sortable Fulfillment Center, or ARS for short. And what that is really a state-of-the-art facility that uses a combination of advanced technologies and robotics to assist our employees in fulfilling customer packages. So right here we have the conceptual site plan. The next slide, I'm sorry, I don't know who's controlling it. Oh, okay. The next slide shows a rendering. So what we're proposing will be approximately 3 million square feet, but that'll be on multiple floors. So it's not just like a 3 million square foot footprint. And the way that the operations works at this facility is the operations will be 24/7, and they really kick off with the arrival of product that comes delivered on tractor trailers to the site. When that product comes in, it gets received by the employees in the building. Something pretty cool, and speaking to the robotics component of this, is the items that come into this type of building, nothing is heavier than 40 pounds, and that's because they're put on racking systems that are moved by robots. Those robots look like Roomba on steroids, kind of. And that's because we don't want our employees walking all across this building, right? The center floors on the upper levels are robotics floors that house those robots and that racking system. So when a customer purchases an item, so when the items come in, they get scanned into inventory. That's when it becomes available when you're shopping online on Amazon.com. And when a customer purchases an item, the robot delivers that rack with that item to the employee, who then picks the item, packages it, labels it for shipment. From there, it gets routed through state-of-the-art conveyance out to the outbound area, where it's then offloaded again onto another tractor trailer, and that will go to a sortation facility potentially, or to a last mile warehouse, or even to a third party delivery service like USPS. And ultimately that package will wind up at the customer's doorstep. So I realize that, this is just the start of the discussion and that we have many milestones ahead of us, but I just want to say that, we appreciate that you have designated this area in need of redevelopment, and we look forward to the potential opportunity to be that redeveloper and to become a member of the Hamilton community.
Danielle, can I ask you, how many employees are we looking at here?
Typically, this type of facility would have about 750 full-time equivalent employees. And then also, I know folks are probably familiar with our, what we call our peak season. It's like the seasonal holiday season. There'll be additional employment opportunities during those periods as well, which are typically for us from like Black Friday to mid-January.
Okay, thank you.
Elaine's asking a
No.
question.
Sorry.
Pardon me? I'm sorry. We can't have questions during the presentation. Go ahead.
So I can address that. This is not necessarily the largest building, but it is our first mile facility, which are on the larger side compared to a last mile delivery station, which is where the vans are deployed from.
Okay.
Mayor and committee, again, I wanted to just, again, show some initial concepts of what's envisioned for this location. Again, as we stated, this is one of the first steps in the process. As Danielle mentioned, the business is excited for this opportunity to work with Patriot Equities on this acquisition, potentially. and the development of this fulfillment center. Again, this is one of the first steps. We would need to move forward through the process with your permission and seek the next appropriate steps, which would be moving towards the planning board ultimately, where, again, these are conceptual drawings. They would need to be fully engineered and meet all of the township's site plan requirements and subdivision requirements, and we would work as a team with your professionals, with the town's professionals, that is, at the planning board level, to make that submission and to pursue the redevelopment project that we've conceptually presented to you this evening.
Okay. Does anybody from committee have any questions?
When will the project be completed?
So, as I mentioned, there's a number of steps on the development side, the approval process, not just the Township of Hamilton. There's other agencies, the county, the state, that would need to be contacted and applications would need to be filed. So the approval process could be quite lengthy for a facility of this size, but the initial thought of the construction timeframes, Danielle, did you want to?
Yeah, so we're still in the conceptual phase, right? And as Joe just stated, there are a significant amount of approvals to still get through. And then the construction for this type of facility could typically take between 24 to 36 months. So it's still preliminary to provide an exact timeline at this phase.
Okay.
Thank you.
Any other questions? Okay. Well, thank you for your presentation. Committee, we have a resolution appointing Amazon as a conditional redeveloper and authorizing the execution of an escrow agreement.
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion. We have a second. Are there any questions? Concerns? We'll do a roll call. Rita?
Mr. Laws?
Yes.
Mr. Patali?
Yes.
Dr. Witherspoon?
Yes.
Mayor Schenker?
Yes.
All yes and carried.
Just so everybody understands, this is the first step. It's very preliminary. There's more to come. Redevelopment agreement is the next step. Again, still very preliminary. It allows these folks to move forward with what they want to do with the township. And escrow agreement is there so that all the bills get paid. All right? We're all good. Emily, you have anything else?
I do not, Mayor, thank you.
All right. Thank you very much for
Thank
coming
you.
in.
Thank you, Mayor and
Good luck.
committee members.
Good luck.
We appreciate your time and your consideration. Thank you.
Thank you. Also up for discussion tonight is an increase in construction fees. Brett, would you like to give us a little background on this?
So I was approached by our construction official earlier this year about the loss of revenue in the construction office. He checked with neighboring towns, and it seems like our fee schedule is a little bit below where it should be. Seems our fee schedule hasn't been adjusted in approximately 6 years.
Okay.
I checked with the CFO. It seems like we lost around $75,000 in 2024 and just about $50,000 in 2023. So the construction office is supposed to be self-sustaining, and at this point we are losing money. So Warren, our construction official, told the larger municipalities in the county, and he adjusted the fee schedule. You guys have a copy of it in your packet.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
We just need authorization tonight to amend the ordinance, adjust the fee schedule, and present it at the next meeting for introduction.
Anybody have any questions?
Just one. When will the fees take? When will they start?
After the public hearing.
Okay.
All right. So, committee, you want to move this forward to have them create an ordinance?
Yeah. So move.
Second. Second. All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? The ayes have it. Thank you. C is change in point system and increase in low SAP for volunteer fire departments. So understand that these are two separate items. They're up for discussion. The point system is under an ordinance. Low SAP is under a resolution. So Brett, would you like to go over this real quick?
So I was approached by our fire administrator. He met with the 4 fire chiefs of the township. Several of the firehouses are having a difficult time meeting the requirements to receive the LoSAP. They asked to restructure the point system. You have a copy of that in your packets. Yep. It's modeled after Egg Harbor Township's point system. I think they also looked at Galloway's. Just adjust it because we have one fire department that has a significantly larger amount of calls than another, and it just evens out the playing field and gives them all a shot to get the LoSAP. The other request from the fire chiefs was to increase the annual LoSAP payment from $1,000 per member to $1,200 per member.
Okay.
So in terms of the 2025 budget, that would increase our budget around $12,000 if everyone hit the minimum requirement.
Okay. Does anybody have any questions? What's your pleasure, committee? Do you want to move this to forward to create an ordinance and a resolution for next meeting?
So moved.
Second.
A motion second. Any questions? Hearing none. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? The ayes have it. Number 4, public hearing. We have none. Introduction of ordinances. We have none. Awards, bids, contracts, and change orders. We have none. This is working out well. 7 is the consent agenda. Don't see if everybody's all right with it. I'll entertain a motion.
7A through, oh, we're skipping I, right?
No, yes.
So 7A through 7H.
Okay. We have a motion.
Second.
We have a second. Any questions or concerns?
I just have a few questions.
Okay.
I'm looking at the registrations, and I do apologize to the administrator because I didn't get a chance to call him today. But on one of the registrations, they were asking for to waive the fees for a site plan. And I wanted to know why and how much was it?
You know which one?
Yeah, it's the, hold on, I highlighted it. It's near the last one. Sorry about that. Just give me a second. They put all of the fees, registration fees on the same on the same one. Just give me 1 second. I'll get right to it. Let me make this out. I believe it is the last. It is. Hannah, it is the one that has the memo from Hannah Desmond. Pursuant to the Planning Board Resolution 2019-08, the board granted a conditional site plan waiver to allow operational of an auction to approximately 4 times a year.
This is a transient vendor, so they're not there all year round. This was done back in 20, I believe that was back when they came. they
It's
started.
2020, but it was attached to,
So this was, I don't know how the plan, who reviewed this back in 2019, but I can just say that it's a transient vendor. They're not a full-time business, so that's my guess why they waived the site plan, because it's not a full-time business. They don't have anything there year-round. It's just equipment sales.
I know it was before my time, but I just wanted to ask that question. So they come 4 times a year, and that's the reason. All right, thank you. And that's that question. The resolution E, 7E. What is it? The resolution of no objection to the NJDOT issuing a permit, but the event is for the Township of Hamilton Historical Society. So I didn't understand why they were not named as the person. They've done that twice. They've done it with them and another with the Mid-Atlantic Search and Rescue. I understand the DOT not issuing them a permit. I got that part. But it's actually, the coin drop is actually for the Township of Hamilton Historical Society?
Yes.
Right. So should that, because the way the resolution reads, it's just talking about the objection of the issuing of the permit. It doesn't really state that it's for Township of Hamilton Historical Society.
It says further down, if you look under where it says be it resolved, down below the actual resolution, it names them and the dates.
Be it resolved that the Township Committee of the Township of Hamilton has no objection to the NJDOT issuing of the permit for the following coin drop. My question is, it's not the DOT that's doing the coin drop, it's Hamilton Historical Society, right?
DOT's just issuing the permit, and the historical society's actually collecting.
Right, which I don't have no problem with, but normally when we have a coin drop, it's the actual entity that's doing the coin drop, not,
Is listed in there.
you see what I'm saying?
Yes, Dr. Witherspoon. If you look at the resolution, not only is it in the title of the resolution, but if you keep reading, going down, it lists Hamilton Historical Society with the dates right below that. So if you keep going a few more words down there, it does say Hamilton Historical Society with the dates listed in the resolution. Does that address the question?
No.
So your question is, Hamilton Historical Society is the one that's conducting the
Correct.
coin drop. So it is in the resolution. It's the DOT that's granting the permit.
It's the DOT has no objection they issuing the permit. That's clear.
Yes.
But it wasn't clear that Hamilton Historical Society is the one that would be doing the coin drop. It doesn't say that. You're just saying because it's listed, it should be common knowledge that that's what it is.
It's also listed in under the title, resolution of no objection, coin drop permit, Hamilton Historical Society.
Okay, I've just never seen it like that. That's what made me question it. I've never seen it like that. It's that way for that one, and it's also that way for F. All right, but the rest of them don't read that way. But that was my only issue with it.
I'm not sure. I've never really dissected these, but I'm going to assume that it was separated out like this because of multiple dates.
That would make sense.
So it just cleans up the way the resolution reads when we send it back for the review.
Okay, thank you. And then my last one is H. Has this grant been submitted yet?
Not yet. This is approval.
Okay, the only reason why, and I'm not trying to, break nobody's chops, but on the PSEG application, it said that the due date was February 14th. Did you see it? They gave the announcement date.
You see it.
Yeah, so there's really no point of us doing it because we're past the time.
Do we know if there's a grace period on the?
You got to come up to the mic.
Robert Goodman, Director of Planning and Zoning. It had been my experience with Sustainable Jersey as well as other grants that are through the State Department of Agriculture and Forestry. They have been very flexible in terms of if we discover a grant and we realize we can't get it done, we've made direct contact with the grant reviewers, and they've just instructed us to, they're giving us an extra 15 days to get this done. That's for this one. I think we have until March 15th in order to be able to submit the grant, and it would be accepted by them for review.
I didn't see anything saying that.
I'm sorry?
I didn't see any documentation saying that.
Understood. If you wish, we'll get that confirming documentation to you.
Any other questions?
No.
Thank you, Robert. With that, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Ayes have it. Move on to personnel. A, resolution to appoint Gregory Montalvo as full-time truck driver labor at $41,600, base salary annually plus annual compensation of $1,000 for possessing and maintaining a Class B commercial driver's license per Teamsters Local 331 agreement. Start date to be determined. Employment contingent upon a successful completion of a physical, drug screen, and background check.
So moved.
A motion?
Second.
Second. Are there any questions, concerns? Rita, can we have a roll call vote, please?
Mr. Laws?
Yes.
Mr. Vitale?
Yes.
Dr. Witherspoon?
Yes.
Mayor Schenker?
Yes. B, resolution appointing Lisa Marie Guyette as a part-time dispatcher for the police department at an hourly rate of $25 an hour. Start date to be determined, contingent upon successful completion of a background process.
So moved.
Second. We have a motion, we have a second. Are any questions or concern? Rita, roll call vote, please.
Mr. Laws?
Yes.
Mr. Vitale?
Yes.
Dr. Witherspoon?
Yes.
Mayor Schenker?
Yes.
All yes and carried.
Thank you. C, resolution appointing Brian Merritt, a full-time police officer at Step 3 of the CBA with a salary of $61,191 annually, start date 4/1/25.
So moved.
Motion, we have a second?
Second.
Any questions or concerns? Just so everyone knows, this gentleman's being hired to replace another officer that is retiring as of April 1st. Rita, can we have a roll call vote, please?
Mr. Laws?
Yes.
Mr. Vitale?
Yes.
Dr. Witherspoon?
Yes.
Mayor Schenker?
Yes.
All yes and carried.
Thank you. Number 9, approvals. A, minutes, regular meeting minutes of February 18th, 2025.
So moved.
Second.
A motion, we have a second. Any questions or concerns? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? The ayes have it. B, minutes of executive session meeting minutes of February 18th, 2025.
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion, we have a second. Any questions? Hearing none. Rita, can we have a roll call vote, please?
Mr. Laws?
Yes.
Mr. Vitale?
Yes.
Dr. Witherspoon?
Yes.
Mayor Schenker?
Yes. Thank you. C, bills. Bill list total $4,627,709.86.
So moved.
I'll second.
Motion, second. Any questions or concerns? Hearing none. Rita, roll call vote, please.
Mr. Laws?
Yes.
Mr. Vitale?
Yes.
Dr. Witherspoon?
Yes.
Mayor Schenker?
Yes.
Oh, yes, and carried.
Reports. Mr. Administrator.
I have nothing to add tonight.
Thank you. Mr. Solicitor.
Nothing to report this time, Mayor. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Engineer.
Nothing at this time, Mayor, although we're getting involved in a few minor assignments. We're going to start providing a written report starting at the next meeting.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Township Committee, Dr. Witherspoon.
Yes. First, I would like to thank you, Mayor Art Schenker, and the committee for allowing women to be honored in Hamilton Township during Women's History Month. We started this last year, and I'm glad that it's being continued. So I wanted to say thank you for that.
It's a good thing.
I attended, along with the mayor. I was very surprised to see him, but I'm not going to steal his thunder.
Sneaky, aren't I?
Yeah, he was. He was at the Atlantic City League of Municipalities meeting that was held at the Crab Trap in Summers Point. I did attend that meeting, and the mayor was there also. And they were talking about the changes in the petition signatures. That's the new legislation that has to be done. So it was very, very interesting. Our solicitor was there, but he wasn't there for us. But he was there too. But it was a great meeting. It was a lot of people that were there from various townships. And it's just a great organization to be a part of, so you can know what's going on in the entire county. Also, I attended the MK Betterment Wall of History, Greater Egg Harbor Township Historical Society Museums. Two of our residents, William Boyner, am I saying that right, Jr., and Jean Boyner, they owned the home that was owned by Colonel John McKee. It's the last home standing, and that home was put in a museum in Egg Harbor Township. I was invited there not knowing they were going to be there, but I was glad I was there, so I was able to represent Hamilton Township. So it was a very, very historical thing, and it was a great thing. It was a great thing. And last but not least, the Hamilton Elite JV and Varsity won the championship last night over Holy Spirit. I was so excited. We have some great kids in our township and great people that are doing some great things. John Wheeler is the coach along with his staff, and it was just a wonderful thing. And maybe, Mayor, I have to talk to you because I can't just put stuff on the agenda. That's not my responsibility. But maybe later on we can honor these kids for winning the championship in JV and varsity basketball against Holy Spirit High School.
Absolutely.
That's my report.
It's one of my favorite things.
What, beating the Holy Spirit?
Well, that goes without saying. Honoring kids for their achievements, Carl. Thanks.
Of course.
Thanks. Appreciate that. Deputy Mayor, what do you got?
After that, well, I should just keep my mouth shut. Was at the Gail Luderitz PTA basket raffle on Saturday night at the Davies School, and had a great time. It was really nice to see so many local businesses that put forth the effort and make donations to make that such a successful event. A lot of money raised. I did not get a final number, but I know it was sold out and $15 a head. So that's just a lot of money right there, and that's great. It goes towards the kids getting them stuff for their classrooms, all things that aren't funded by our tax dollars, unfortunately. Road trips, stuff like that. So that's really a good thing. Of course, honoring Susan and Elaine, who I've worked with both of them, and they're both great people. And I see Elaine's daughter Donna left, and she was the one who got me all the information that I needed for Elaine. So I would like to say thank you to her. And of course, I want to say we really lost a hell of a man in Bobby Hamilton. it's going to be noticed for a long time, everything that he did in this town. He was a member of the Mays Landing Volunteer Fire Company for over 50 years. He was their main operator for all their equipment. So he would be one of the first ones at the station to get on that rig and get ready to go out to a scene. He was on the rescue squad for many years. He pretty much retired from that. He was one of the founding members of our dive team. And his giving was huge in our town. You know, you needed anything, you go ask them, and he'd make a donation to whatever cause, whether it's my boat races that I go after money every year, or National Night Out, whatever. He was there along with Mahogany Company to help out with anything. So I want to say thank you to all the different entities, the fire companies that were there on Sunday, yesterday, Rescue Squad, Public Works, the police department, everybody that was there. Boak's Funeral Home did a great job, and thank you to the school for allowing us to use the school to honor such a great guy. So goodbye, Bobby. We'll take it from here, buddy. And that's all from me. Reagan, I'll see you later. Maddie, miss you, love you, and I hope to see you soon.
Thank you, Carl. Committeeman Laws.
Sure. No, I'd like to echo Carl's sentiments about the PTA basket raffle. Awesome event.
Yeah, you won more stuff than I did.
I won a lot of stuff.
Man, I'll tell you.
I felt pretty lucky that night. Felt pretty lucky. No, it was a wonderful event, and of course for wonderful causes, great causes. Our kids are the most important thing, most important asset this township has, and, you know, investing in those children, the way everyone came out and, you know, reached into their pockets and just had a great time. Of course, I won a lot, so I had a better time. But I was also impressed by the community. Well, they had like a BYOF, you know, bring your own food. Every table had a different array of food on it, so I just happened to be very likable, so I made it around to every table, sampled something from each table. My waistline is punishing me for it right now, but no, it was just great. It was just an awesome thing. And you all should try and get out. I know it was sold out, but next year you should all get out. In fact, I'm going to sponsor a table next year for everybody in the room, so please remind me next year.
Everybody in the room? Or
Everybody in the room.
Everybody in the room.
Everybody in the room.
Or the
Table
man.
for all of us.
Got about 6 tables here, Bob.
Yeah. It's going to be fun. You guys are responsible for the food, though. No. No, so there's that. I also like to congratulate the ladies who were honored tonight. Ms. Witherspoon suggested that we do this for Women's History Month. Last year it was a success, and we rolled into it smoothly this year, and we'll be doing another 2 next meeting. Super happy and super proud of you ladies. I can't say enough just hearing all of your accomplishment over the years. And you're well deserving. Also very excited about our presentation from Amazon tonight. This is something that I can tell you our mayor has been working on diligently along with the rest of committee. We're super proud that we could finally say, okay, the potential of Amazon is coming to Hamilton Township, so we're super excited about that. The impact, the economic impact is going to be, you know, tremendous, and we're definitely looking forward to that, you know, coming to fruition. And finally, I'd like to congratulate Miss Brianna Groalt. She's a student at ACIT. She's a resident of Hamilton Township. She made it all the way to the Meet of Champions, which is the creme de la creme of track and field in the state of New Jersey. She competed against the best in the state, and she finished second. She went in ranked 16th, and she went in there and finished second, only to the national champion, a young lady who was #1 in the nation. She's the only person that beat her. So we're super proud of her. She competed in the 55-meter hurdles, finished second. She finished 7th in the long jump. And she finished 12th in the 200 meters, breaking our school record in all 3 events. The most important thing about this is that Brianna's only in the 10th grade, so she's got a lot, got a big future ahead of her. There's also a young man that competed from Oakcrest, Mr. Devin Hannon. Really put forth his best foot. We're super proud of this young man. Got to see him run yesterday. Fantastic job. So hats off to our Mays Landing kids. They're really doing some great things from basketball to track and field. And I'm sure in other sports too that we'll get to celebrate those guys with. So thank you guys so much. And that's my report for today.
Thank you. I'm going to start out with Amazon because this is something that we've been working on for, it's going to be close to a year now. They came in quite some time ago and it was supposed to be a secret, but it's probably the worst kept secret in Atlantic County.
Yeah, about that.
But nonetheless, we're still at the early stages of this, so, as much as Carl wants me to get excited, I'm still not quite there yet. I just want to take a second to thank the redevelopment subcommittee because this has been a lot of work on their part. Elaine is part of that subcommittee, and I remember back when I was going to start the subcommittee, Elaine said to me, well, I don't think I'm going to stay on the zoning board anymore. And I said to her, well, you have to. I need you to be on the zoning board. You don't understand. So we arm wrestled. I won. She's still on the zoning board. I want to thank the professionals too. So, like I said, it's a lot of work. It's grueling. It's hard, especially getting to this night here. A lot of work went into this to get it exactly the way it's supposed to be. Towns are developers and companies like Amazon are not used to what they saw when they got here, and they saw our little charts and stuff and said, yeah, you're not getting away from doing the things on that chart. And we kept having to go back and tell them over and over and over again, no, we're not doing that because this is what our ordinance says. So back when I promised you that's the way it would be, no matter who came, that's my word. So we are following everything by the letter of the law. They are way ahead on some things that because they're a big corporation, they can afford to take those kind of chances. But they're doing a great job, and I think they're going to be a great partner for us here in Hamilton Township. And not only here, but it's going to affect the outlying areas too. There's going to be a lot of development come because of this. So I'm looking forward to it. The PTA raffle, Jerry Nelson is here. He's the president of the school board. Every year they do a great job putting this together and raising a lot of money. I was there too. I didn't win a thing. I don't want to sound hurt or anything, but I am the mayor and I didn't win anything. But anyway, I'll get over it. We'll move on. And I'm sure Jerry will have a report for us on exactly how well, but it's a great event, it's well attended, it's a lot of fun. And the last thing I want to touch on is Bobby Hamilton. During the course of the week and the weekend, you heard a lot of stories about Bobby, and there are a million of them. But the one that sticks out in my head was when they decided to tear out Cotton Mill Bridge, which puts the Reliance Station, the Mays Landing Station, in a very bad situation. Because that means the only way they can get to a fire that's on this side of town is to go all the way around and hit Route 40. And if it's at a bad time of the day, that's a nightmare, as you can imagine. So the Hamiltons volunteered their home to keep a fire truck there so it could be on this side of the bridge. And that's a lot. That takes a lot. That just shows the type of people that they are and the type of person he was, and we're going to miss him. That's all I have. I want to open it up to the public for public comment. Anyone would like to speak? Yes, ma'am. Name and address, please.
Yes, my name's Ryan Greck, 810 Farragut Avenue.
Thank you.
Committee, I'm one of the co-chairs of the Hamilton Sustainability Team, and I just wanted to thank you for the passage of the resolution tonight about our application to Sustainable Jersey for the PSG E&G funding. If we're awarded this grant, which we'll find out at the end of April, we're going to be providing a webinar that's free and open to the public, any community members who want to sign up, about the benefits of using native plants in your yard for stormwater management and wildlife habitat. And the first 50 people who sign up for the webinar will also be provided with free native plants as well as a guidebook, beyond what the webinar provides on the benefits of, how to and with the native plants in your yard. So, and to Dr. Witherspoon, our portion of the application was due February 14th. This resolution tonight will finalize our application. That's what's due March 21st. So thank you again for your support, and we'll be sure to let you know if we're awarded the grant at the end of April.
Good luck.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Anyone else?
I wanted to say thank you for making the PTA event on Saturday a huge success. We raised north of $27,000. That money will go towards buying supplies for the children, backpacks, and other things that go not on our tax bill. So I want to specifically say thank you for the support from you, Mayor, Deputy Mayor, and Mr. Laws for showing up. It shows that the schools that they're not in this alone, and that you guys support us. And more importantly, it fulfills one of our goals of 2025, and that was to continue to outreach our community and work more hand in hand with our other government bodies that reside within Hamilton Township. So I want to say thank you very much for coming, and I really do think you probably won something, Mayor.
Well, you
But
think the
for
fix
the
was
first time
in?
in 3 years, miraculously, the deputy mayor won something. I'm not saying that it took 3 years, and it might have been your take.
You very suspicious, isn't it?
Got thrown right in front of the school bus.
Whatever. Jerry, thank you so much. We appreciate everything you guys do.
They going by school buses?
Yes, sir.
I'm enjoying it. I don't know.
I'm Michael Lazarchik. I'm married to Susan Lazarchik. We've been together for 50 years. I want to thank you for honoring her. I want to tell you, we've been here for a little over 30 years now. We have a 3 1/3 acre certified wildlife habitat. And she's been bringing native plants to that property for the past 30 years. We have solar panels on the roof. We have a huge organic garden. There's no pesticides. It's an all-natural point of light in this community. And that's the kind of work that she's been doing for the past 30 years here. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for your comments. It's very nice. Anyone else in the public like to speak? Seeing none?
Move to close public.
I'll second.
We have a motion and a second to close public portion. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? The ayes have it. I will entertain a motion to go into executive session. The two items on executive session are recommending enforcement action summary for 7318 Black Horse Pike attorney-client privilege and police personnel. We will not be coming back out? Yes. So moved. Motion, second? Second. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? The ayes have it. Thank you, everyone, for coming tonight.